Estêvão! What the fuck happened today? He went in, it hit the fucking second stand up there. And second shot, third stand. He went to try pass it. It was a disaster. Honestly, Estêvão, he's got so much potential. We're going to keep it a buck here. But today, I don't know what happened with him. Maybe he didn't hit a boom, cha, cha, boom, cha, cha. But he's got it, but not against Arsenal. I think today could have gone so much better.
Chelsea fan talk.
I didn't know Chelsea did that. Fair play. I didn't know the Chelsea had people out there doing that.
Yeah, they do. I mean, look, I know we spoke earlier about fans can say what they want about their own players. They can boom if they want. But speaking about an 18-year-old youngster like that after a game, I just don't get it. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I mean, look, we see it at United all the time. There seems to be this total lack of patience in society anyway. But like we've seen it with Dorgu, we see it with Yoro, Lemens after the Everton game. They're going to make mistakes. Any player's going to make mistakes, but you're going to make mistakes when you're a kid because you're in your formative years. That's where you're meant to make mistakes. And we seem to have lost the ability to nurture in fan bases as well. I mean, I know what chance he's talking about. It was a great chance, but even as a United fan, I was like, oh, he could have done better there, move on. I'm not like, oh, fucking hell, he's rubbish, get rid of him or anything like that. It's like,
yeah,
you are going to make chances. You should have done better. But, I mean, they've got a fantastic talent there. I mean, look, I do agree with what you said. Like, if you're being booed and stuff like that, we're all human beings. It can impact your performance. Some people use it as an inspiration. Some people use it to, crumble. And, he's probably pissed, to be honest, or on something else. But because the noise at the start was a little bit weird. And what's he doing with his headphones? But maybe that's a new thing.
Maybe that's the new. Maybe we're meant to wear them like this. That's how they're meant to be, like that.
Yeah.
What do you reckon,
Maybe
Pete?
it's a sign of
is that a better look?
Just lack of intelligence. But let's be fair and say he's probably pissed. Because it's a bit of a weird take on a player that has the potential to be. The thing that excites me about Estêvão is that we don't normally get these Brazilian, South American players coming into the Premier League at that age.
No.
They're normally at Inter Milan or Barcelona or Real Madrid. So he has got, if they nurture him properly, they've got a real superstar there that could light up the Premier League for years to come.
I agree, and I like what Rob said here. He goes, this is a consequence of Chelsea fans hyping up their own players a bit too soon. Let them grow. So you do get that. Oh, he's going to kill it today. So therefore, your criticism is very different. And also, I like this comment. This is why Maresca has been using him sparingly to protect him from fans like that. And I also agree, because if they get too much hype, and then listen, he's 18, he is going to have bad moments. Even Messi and Ronaldo were not their consistent, brilliant best at 18. It took them into their early 20s. Ronaldo was near his mid-20s before he became very, very consistent. You've got Haaland that was scoring consistently from this age, but these are anomalies. And it's the one thing where people go, no, Terry, you've got to hold all play. You're old enough to play. You're old enough to take criticism. I just disagree with that fundamentally. Depending upon your age and your experience and time at the top, that dictates to me the level of criticism. If you've got, you employ people. If you've got someone who works for you, who's been in the industry for 25, 30 years, has been with your company for 10 years, and they make a bad mistake, that is different to how you would treat an intern learning their job. An 18-year-old fresh out of college learning the industry. That's why I push back against it. The idea you treat those same individuals the same in every moment of every day, in every situation, is ridiculous. And, I think we spoke about, it might be yourself and I that spoke about this, or somebody else did. You get it with personality traits. People go, you're just two-faced if you change in front of different people. What do you mean? You expect me to speak to my nan how I speak to my mates down the pub? Are you a moron? Do you expect me to speak to my missus when we're laying in bed how I speak to my mates down the pub? Do you expect me to speak to my missus in bed how I speak to my mum? What are you fucking talking about? You interview with your boss. You go for a job of your dreams. You sit there and talk to this potential boss like you do your missus when you're laying in bed having pillow talk. You have different ways of behaving in different scenarios and in front of different people. The idea that you're only a real person if you treat everyone the same in every minute of the day, every facet of life, is the most ridiculous and backwards way of thinking I've ever heard. And I use the same thought process for criticism. I would never criticize an 18-year-old fledgling how I would a 28-year-old experienced player. And if you do, I'm going to say it to you, you are a fucking moron. You're a moron from outer space if you do that. Sorry to say it, but you are. If you don't like it, do one. It's crazy. Can't believe people think like that, Mark. It just does my brain in.
Yeah, I think people have to justify, quite rightly, we have to back our own opinions, and we're very proud of them. And idiots have opinions, so they get very proud of their opinions. Like, it's, look, logically for me, I understand the criticism of young players. I've seen it with Dorgu, I've seen it with Yoro, I've seen it with Mainu, seen it with Garnacho, Rashford over the years. But there is a line, I think. Like I've said it about Lamens, he's going to make mistakes. Are we going to jump on them like we did with Onana, or are we going to go contextually? He's a young player coming into a new league, and he could be a really good player in 3 years if we are patient with him. It's about where you choose your patience, and it's where you go, that's not justifiable. I think calling Onana Pratt man after 2 years of fucking up this football club is justified to a young goalkeeper. I think it's got potential where you go, it's hard because he's cost us a goal, but let's just say he's had a bad performance and move on. Like Estêvão maybe had a bad performance on Sunday. I don't think he particularly did, but maybe he did. But you move on. You don't start. Don't scrutinise it.
Kate says, I spoke like that to my boss Terry when I went for a job, and I ended up marrying him. Well, that's it. That's well done, Jimbo. Well done, cracker. You got a cracker there, Jimbo. But no, generally speaking, you know what I mean. I know that's a joke, but I see that a lot online. But I'm a real one. I treat everyone exactly the same no matter what's going on. I think now you're a proper weirdo. That's become my new red flag for a human being. Like people that say things like you're a real one and real recognizes real. It's always my red flag for, there's a snake in the room. I always find it's a weird projection when people say that now.
Society will get worse, though, beyond football. I mean, football will get worse, but society will get worse if this is the new way of thinking that, the TikTok generation have made people lose patience. Because if you haven't got patience, you haven't got niche, and you haven't got levels, then you do become very one-tracked. And one-tracked people, there will be an evolution at some point. Because it's not sustainable to just treat everything the same. It's lazy, and I think late society is lazy because it's like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this. Like, it's lazy to think one way. You're basically you're not using a large proportion of your brain that will give you context. You should think things through.
No, the massive lack of, I think it is a societal issue more than anything else. In the sense of like. People do remove context. They have a monolithic way of thinking, a one-track mind way of thinking. Their opinion is the only way you can think. It's even hard to have conversations anymore. I was having a conversation with a Man United fan last night who's annoyed at me because, yes, I want us to improve on Ruben Amorim. I want Amorim to either get better or us to get a better manager. But he's annoyed that I also want the squad to be improved at the same time. He's like, you think we'll play better football with better players? Yeah, I do. And he's like, well, the manager's still here. I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying we'll become the best team in the world, but the idea that if we had Belieber and Anderson and Van der Ven and Cucurella in our team instead of who we've got, the idea that we wouldn't be a better team is warped to me. But people want to just push the narrative that the only reason we're struggling is because of Amorim, and I just disagree with that fundamentally. That doesn't mean I'm defending Amorim. It means I'm looking at the wider problems. But I think people can be so narrow-minded in their thought process to now be sitting there and saying United won't get better with better players. I just look at it and think, I worry about 2036, let alone 2026. Where are we going to be? Final clip. Let's just play this quickly here.
Goals. It's almost because we saw them as the goal scoring ones. We see Keenan Vieira and Petit as almost like, they're just like centre midfield players. Do you understand what I mean? And there's like almost different midfield players now because there's 3 players playing in there more often than not, isn't he?
Is Declan Rice caught up in between being like, he's not an out-and-out attacking midfield, he's not an out-and-out sitting, he's kind of just caught up.
I think he's whatever the he wants to be, if I'm honest. He is our midfield. And people also underestimate the best ability being availability. And he is always available. The past week we've just had, he played the whole game. Spurs, Bayern, Chelsea, didn't stop running end to end, creating chances, good for a goal, like I said. We underestimate how important that is. And also, when we don't have the ball, he is our leader without the armband. He's the one communicating with every player. You stay here, you go there. He is our captain. And like you said, it's like a Roy Keane, but people don't like to admit that because it's today's day and age. Everyone likes to look back. But what we're witnessing right now from Declan Rice, I think is revolutionary.
Oh, no. That's you've gone way too far. Revolutionary.
He's on track for a Ballon d'Or. If we win the league, if we win the league, and the World Cup,
that's a big if.
It was going so well then, and then unfortunately, this is what happens with these fan debates. You've got so many people screaming for attention that, you know, one person laughs, everyone laughs, and actually he's not made a bad point. Like, he hasn't made a bad point. Declan Rice has been revolutionary for that Arsenal midfield. He does turn up every week. And if Arsenal win the Premier League and the Champions League, he would have a shout for the Ballon d'Or. But people just get what we were talking about there. They're so reactionary. They can't think. And then if someone laughs, everyone laughs. And look, he's not old enough to know what Roy Keane is, for a start. So I don't respect his opinion about Roy Keane. But the reality is Declan Rice has become and is at the right age now. I always think Declan Rice is 23, 24. I think he's actually 25, 26, maybe even 27 now. So he's bang in the area where he should be doing what his talent always predicted he could. He's not potential anymore. He's not a prospect anymore. He's sat in the middle of a team that's top of the league and is the favourite to win the Champions League, and in an England side that could win a World Cup. So, you know, sometimes I think we've got to be credit. And I think also where he goes wrong is that we want to look back. I actually think people don't want to look back. I think people always think now is better than the past. So maybe that's his naivety as a pundit or as a fan, because I think a lot of what he says is true, but he's demeaning himself a little bit by going, we always want to look back and say it's better. I don't think we do. I think a lot of people want to say now is better than the past. So, but I think fundamentally he makes really good points. I think Declan Rice could be in the argument for Ballon d'Or. Well, if Chelsea win the league and the Champions League, Reece James could be in the. That's how it works. Like he's
in the top 5 currently, odds-wise. He's in the top 5 currently. Mbappe's leading the odds, followed by Yamal, followed by Kane, Haaland, all goal scorers and attackers, and then it's Declan Rice. And Declan Rice is then it's Vitinha, and then everybody else is like 25-1 on and bigger.
We have blinkers though, don't we, Terry? I think it's like we have the best league in the world, but we're still very bad at appreciating that if you have the best league in the world and one of those teams proves themselves to be the best team in the world, then suddenly it's open season for Ballon d'Or, because that's how it should work. Messi and Ronaldo didn't get it just because they were the 2 greatest players we've probably ever seen. They played for 2 teams that were also 2 of the best teams in the world. So if Arsenal become the best team in the world this season, which isn't beyond the realms of possibility, then you look at that team and you go, who is the player that makes that team be the best team in the world? Is it Saka? Is it Saliba? Is it Declan Rice? And right here, right now, Saka's been injured, Gabriel's been injured, Odegaard's been injured. He is the constant from week 1. I think he's been. I don't get what the laugh was there. Apart from let's laugh at Arsenal because that's what everyone likes to do, and I think you're demeaning yourself on that show, which is a fan debate show. You know,
I agree. I think he is on course. It doesn't mean he's going to get it, but they're on course to doing it in the sense of if Arsenal win the Premier League,
Rodri won it.
Well, Rodri certainly won it. If Arsenal do go on to win the Premier League from here, and my feeling is I actually think over the next 4 or 5 games they're going to extend their lead. I think they're going to pull further clear. If they do go on to win it, I would bet a sizable amount of money that he wins a lot of the end of season player awards. Now, I'm not a big fan of player awards. I've always felt they're a little bit, but ever since Ginola won Player of the Year in 1999, I stopped caring about them. I think that I don't use them in player debates, but some people do. But he's going to win, Declan Rice. If Arsenal win the league, he will win 1, 2, maybe all of those Player of the Year awards. That's going to happen. If they win the Champions League as well, and Declan Rice is a major part of it, he is in line. He will be in the pecking order to win a Ballon d'Or. There is no doubt about that, because we know part of the Ballon d'Or's criteria is how influential a player was in winning the major trophies. And so far this season, there hasn't been an Arsenal player, in my opinion, that's done more than Declan. You might argue that Timber's done as much. You might argue Saka's done as much, but I don't think any player has done more than Declan Rice so far. But as you say, it's we don't sometimes see this as fans. We like laugh at each other's opinions, which then diminishes fan opinion, but yet we're trying to grow platforms that are there to push fan opinion. And I don't think it was a crazy take.
No, exactly. I think everybody who laughs in that has outed themselves as a moron or somebody that just follows the pack because they're scared to actually think. And as you say, fan opinion is on the rise, and everyone who's laughed in that room is an idiot because you've just laughed at a fan say one of the most important players in a team that could win the league and the Champions League could win the most prestigious award in Europe. And I don't rate the Ballon d'Or, but like, how is that a bad take? We should be, if Man United are top of the league and they're going to win the Champions League and Bruno's our best player, he should be in the conversation for winning the Ballon d'Or. If Man City win the league and the Champions League, Erling Haaland should be. If Chelsea win the Champions League and the Premier League, Reece James should be. If they're the best player for that team, how are you laughing at that? And this is what I mean. I mean, I don't know whether Carragher was laughing. He probably was. But sometimes I think it's like, let's laugh at Arsenal and let's actually respect this league that we say is the best league in the world. And then if those teams in that league are then going to be the best team in Europe, then let's, how is that a bad take? It's strange. I don't know. I think it's like a, this goes back to what we were talking about before. That's a scary pack mentality to laugh at what was actually a very logical statement.
Well, you mentioned the pack mentality, the herd mentality. I get a lot of stick every day, and I'm sure you do on That's Football. When you're meant to be a Man United fan, why are you praising Liverpool's business? You're meant to be a Man United fan. Why are you defending Declan Rice from us attacking his girlfriend because we don't think she's attractive? You're meant to be a Man United fan. Why are you protecting Chelsea here and saying that goal shouldn't have stood? You're meant to be a Man United fan. Why are you saying VAR or drop Liverpool of a goal? Because I just don't follow maybe it means I'm not a real one in your eyes. I think the opposite. I just don't follow the pack just because it's a trendy thing to say. I just give my honest opinion. Sometimes my opinions are right. Sometimes my opinions are wrong. But I do agree with you. And it's not just on this. It's right across the board. Sometimes people make a claim. I'd rather listen. Sometimes they are funny. When Ty said they tried to hurt us, but they're not strong enough to. That's a funny comment for me. But when someone makes a claim, my first thought is, hang on, everyone shush. Let's listen to what they're saying here. That's what I try my best to do. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't do that, and I've got to do a better job. But I saw it and thought I didn't quite get the laughter myself. But look, viewers, we'll let you guys. Someone here, Terry Rice's girlfriend's hot. I'm not judging whether she's hot or not. I'm just not that interested, if that makes sense. Other than breaking the law, I don't care about anything players do in their personal lives. They could be married to a barrage balloon. Couldn't give a damn. Cheat on their wife? Who cares? They buy food from Aldi. What the fuck do I care? They bought a £10,000 bag. Well done. All that stuff for me is irrelevant and shouldn't even be discussed that regularly in football, to be honest with you. But look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in to Hot Takes today. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing the video. If you are watching us on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star rating as well and share us across your platforms too. Until next time, I'm live actually 2 p.m. on the United Stand today. So if you want to come and watch some brilliant Man United opinions on that platform, 2 p.m. is it's a chance to do that when Moi will be on the show. And then I'm back at 3:30 for Straight Facts here on the Football Terrace. So busy day for me. Looking forward to the conversations. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.